it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentagram, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentagram?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
To be a moron, to be moronical, an imbecile.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody who wants to walk, do it now.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
You lied to me. Did have shade.
Welcome to the real world.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
I'm here. Don't worry. Hello. How are you? I know. My hair is getting increasingly large. There's not much I can do about it. It's got a lot of bobble to it these days. There's nothing I can do except just let it go. I'm in a mid-zone. I'm this close to cutting it and having the haircut from Clute that Jane Fonda had, but not until much later. Hi, everybody. So I did a little I did a little bit of troll farming, so we should be a little bit better in the Facebook crowd, I hope. I don't know, because in all honesty, the real people over at Facebook, I love you guys. It's nice to see you. How are you? Hello. But unfortunately, since Twitter banned all the QAnon freaks, they've all run over to Facebook. Hi, Philly Dana. Yeah, I didn't even pimp the show yesterday and ask for super chats and Patreon support and all that kind of stuff because I was literally live dealing with bots. It was super fun. But I will say that, I learned a lot about the process over the last 24 hours. And I will be making some changes so that I can maintain the Facebook thing and have it here without it just being overrun with Jonestown cultist psychopaths. That would be nice. Just to kind of, because I don't mind. You guys know I don't mind having a political discussion. I don't mind going toe to toe with someone who disagrees with me politically. Do it all the time. But when it's a clearly grammar and spelling challenged poor dude getting less than minimum wage in Macedonia. I'm sorry, I'm reading and speaking at the same time, and I guess I have a mixed level of sympathy for them and desire to have them get off my page. So, if you're on Facebook and you understand English, even if it's a second or third language, move to YouTube, go to infotainmentwars.com and go to the YouTube chat so you can live amongst the real people. Because I don't know how long I'm going to be able to put up with the troll farming at Facebook, just because of the lack of just civility and racial and anti-LGBT slurs that I have to farm out, that you manually have to do. I have to say, one of the most uncomfortable parts of streaming is going through your moderation, your like phrase moderation stuff, and having to write down all the words that one would think would be self-evident that you do not want people to be able to write in your chat room. Twitter's okay, but I mean, Twitter's just, it's Periscope, and we just have to broom out the occasional dude popping a stitch because he can't stand to be disagreed with, and you can't have mocked openly because it's more like it questions their manhood. I don't know, I know how miffed I get when people question my, when they crap on my favorite band. But imagine if your entire self-worth, was attached to someone like Donald Trump, and pictures of him and Ghislaine Maxwell were all over the internet. And then he says yesterday, right when you're like, he didn't know them, plus Bill Clinton, plus and stuff. And then he goes yesterday, I wish her well. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, you must just, like, go, I love you, Trump, you're awesome. And then as soon as you, like, disconnect, go, every time you see his picture, you're like, you lied to me. Living that way, good times. So, so if you're on Facebook and you're a Trumpster or a maggot or all that, I feel like we have to do the preamble at this point. Or if you're new, because we are gaining a lot of new people. If you're gonna throw around the, lib turd and orange man bad and blah, blah, like you think I do this just because I hate this individual. I mean, I do hate him, but I hate him specifically, not say genuine conservative thought. I can have a political discussion with somebody who disagrees with me. I just think he's a cult leader and a moron. I don't think he's a genuine representative of any political movement. As a matter of fact, I think he's representative of a bowel movement. That's pretty much the only movement. But in generally, that is, our standard is like, whatever issues we have with him, I can have a disagreement with you politically about all kinds of stuff. And we don't hate the cops here, and we don't hate our flag, and we believe in like, proper protest, safe, peaceful protest, that kind of thing. But we don't believe in, arson as a political activity, that kind of shit. So just in case, just so you know where you are, because a lot of you guys just don't know where you are, or you just project outward your own hatred onto other people, and you can't imagine a world where anybody is different. Yeah. So, just to clear that up. But sit back and enjoy the show. I know you will, because there will be a lot of your favorite person, and because he did a bunch of stuff today. He did his own little task farce briefing as well by himself again. And if you haven't shown your love, thanks, Can't Stop Lying. If you haven't shown your love yet, give a thumbs up, like and subscribe to the channel. That always helps us out. We're trying to grow our subscription base. It's a brand new thing, so it's just us. And if you're on the Facebook page, behave yourself. Honestly, is it too much to ask? You're in someone else's house. My favorite people are like, who the hell are you to say about, like, on my page? Are there not enough pages on YouTube, on Facebook for you? Honestly. Are you short of Trump ass-kissing sites to go to? Really? You're busying yourself on my page because you can't find enough Meg is awesome, bro, so cool pages to hang out on and go, I agree. Good luck with that. Enjoy your pineapple farm with this man who clearly today is got his best bird's nest hairdo going on. Now, we all have issues with quarantine hairdos and whatnot, but he's had this is someone who has the ability to get their hair cut whenever you want. Why, thank you, my name. Well, I agree with you, Angelic. So I don't know what that sort of pancake thing is. When you have options, like, I understand my hair's kind of a wreck, but I was like playing with kittens up until about half hour ago, and then I was brooming trolls and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. I have an excuse for my hair looking ridiculous. And like I said, I am in the sort of there's something I can use to display what I'm talking about. What can I because it has to be sufficiently thin. Let me find something that sufficiently shows what I'm discussing. I can't use a cable that will hurt me in some way. Well, I don't know. Actually, this might work. This is just a power cable. But it has to be this thin or whatever. This old, like, 1960s sci-fi villains. Remember that? Am I wrong? This is the do. Am I not right? We know that you come from the strange spaceship in the sky, but our leader will not let you leave unless you fight the Gorg. Right, that kind of thing. So that's the do I have right now. And I have an excuse, because there's no... Oh, it's totally the original series. Yeah, so... once things open up again, I'll try and do my best to get a next generation do. But I'm really trying. Yes, the Gorn. That's right.
Call me Snake.
But until then, I'm gonna grow out my mullet. It's getting there. It's starting to. It's about to hit the shoulder. I mean, that's when it's on. Yes, Con. Street Fighter. Totally can't stop lying. I'm a Street Fighter character right now. It's hilarious. So yeah. So it's a little. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, Mary. Good God, we can't hang out and let everybody gather. This is the problem again. Facebook people. They have an antisocial aspect to them. Of all places, by the way. Christina F., thank you so much. It's welcome back. Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for the super chats, you guys. Welcome and glad to have you here. And I appreciate you supporting all the freeloaders over on Facebook. I've been talking to Summer about this. I've been talking about shaving my entire head at the end of the quarantine as kind of because I've never done it before. So let's see, and then yeah, it's a good time. Hey John, you want to put the cast, including you, to record anything that you have all credited in? Oh, thanks. Yeah, I do have the Let's Get Video thing. Yeah, all the QAnon people went to Facebook. And by the way, to all the QAnon people who are clearly watching, because now I'm on the radar because of yesterday. I did, Amy. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize on behalf of humanity because we don't understand you. We know you're mentally ill, but we have no treatment right now. We know you're lonely. We know you spiral into a sort of a burning dumpster fire of conspiratorial theories that all fuse together. And I gotta say, there was a tipping point when the dude with the gun showed up at the pizza place that has no basement But the whole John landing in an airplane during the military parade last year, or again landing in an airplane at the base of Mount Rushmore this time, 2 solid swings and a miss. Those are rough. I mean, that I just feel bad that, you know, those just really, talk about a bad landing. That's gotta sting. None of this is working out for you. And you need to drop it and join humanity in actual human interactions again. Spiraling into a cuckoo tornado is not helping you or anybody around you. So just a little warning. But anyways, back to bird's nest soup. By the way, anybody remember when Trump made fun of people who use teleprompters? Anybody remember that?
Great honor to be with you today.
Oh, hold on. He's quiet. I got to turn him up a little bit. Great honor to be with you today. Or they don't have his mic on, which is entirely possible because the technological limitations of the White House are pretty hilarious.
And being here is
This is what? Wait. Oh God, this is not starting off well.
a really important moment as far as I'm
Being here is a really important moment as far as you're concerned. Where?
concerned. My first duty as president is to protect the American people, and today I'm taking action to
Well, while upholding the Constitution, because you can't protect the American people by turning us into circa 1984 Russia or China. You see what I mean? That's an important line to walk.
fulfill that sacred obligation. In recent weeks,
Hi, Twitch people.
there's been a radical movement to defund, dismantle, and dissolve our police department.
Nobody's dissolving police departments. And I'm really sorry that Biden isn't for any of these things.
Extreme politicians have joined this anti-police crusade and
Oh no. Assembly people, look out.
relentlessly vilified our law enforcement heroes. To look at it
By the way, the rank and file police in the United States, love you. Sorry you're having to go through this. Sorry you have racist infiltrators who are screwing with everybody. Sorry about that. Genuinely mean that.
from any standpoint, the effort to shut down policing in their own communities has led to a shocking explosion of shootings, killings, murders, and heinous crimes of violence. This bloodshed must end. This bloodshed will end. Today, I'm announcing a surge of federal law enforcement into American communities plagued by violent crime.
Yep, maybe you would partnership with the local police and the state police for a coordinated effort and just instead of sending in federal forces in violation of the 14th Amendment.
We'll work every single day to restore public safety,
Is it the 14th? Am I getting that one right? I think it is. Quartering soldiers and using the military?
protect
I'll have to
our
look it up.
nation's children, and bring violent perpetrators to justice. We've been doing it, and you've been seeing what's happening all around the country.
Yeah. You've been snatching people off the street, using people in military gear. We assume they're federal because they have no markings on what they're wearing. So any white supremacist group that wants to just start kidnapping people has apparently gotten a green light at this point, because how do you tell the difference? Are they the ones that have taken the plates off their rental vehicles?
We've just started this process, and
That's the third. Thank you, Playing Doodle.
frankly, we have no choice but to get involved. With us today is Attorney General Bill Barr.
Oh, God. The federal government is always involved. The FBI, the U.S. Marshals, the DEA, the ATF, they're always in partnership with local law enforcement. We just don't send soldiers into the streets.
Thank you, Bill, very much. Acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf. Chad, thank you. And FBI Director Christopher Wray. Thank you, Chris, very much. We're also pleased to be joined by Americans who have tragically lost their loved ones to
That I today will use as human shields for my stupid policy to turn us into circa 1986 Russia. Is he going to black out during this? I have not seen this, as live, so.
violence To each of you, please know that America grieves with you, that we pledge to honor the
American grieves with you? I was chewing. Did he say American grieves with you?
To each of you, please know that America grieves with you, that we pledge to honor the memory of your cherished loved ones by fighting to bring safety and
Somebody's phone went off.
every single community.
Turn off your phones. I mean, honestly, if you're in an environment like that, you can't,
We will bring that safety, you will see. For decades, politicians running many of our nation's major cities have put the interests of criminals above the rights of law-abiding citizens.
How? The interests of criminals? Why? By giving them tax shelters to hide their money? What are you talking about? The interests of criminals. Crime has been going down since '92.
These same politicians have now embraced the far-left movement to break up our police departments, causing violent crime in their cities to spiral.
This is my most impassioned speech that I've given.
And I mean spiral seriously out of control.
Super spiraling, like
Departments
spirograph.
causing violent crime in their cities to spiral. And I
Oh, he said Spyro, and he fixed it. I mean, seriously, Spyro.
Politicians have now embraced the far-left movement to break up our police departments, causing violent crime in their cities to spiral, and I mean spiral seriously out of
Spirograph out of, like, you can make all kinds of designs. They're gonna spiral.
control. In New York City, over 300 people were shot in the last month alone, a
Or they're making up for lost time, apparently.
277 at least % increase over the same period of a year ago. Murders this year have spiked 27% in Philadelphia, 94% in Minneapolis, compared to the
Okay, hold on. Oh, I hate when we have to do this. Okay. Minneapolis murder stats. Okay, here we go. I'm going to look it up right now. Minneapolis, commonly referred to by this president as Minneapolis, murder stats. Okay, so let's see. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Minneapolis, one of the most dangerous cities in 2017. There were, oh my gosh, in 2017, there were, wait a minute, 47 murders? .2018 crime rate in Minneapolis. Okay, so that was already up. It was 1.7 times higher than the U.S. average. It was higher than 94% of U.S. cities. Let me guess. The other 5% of cities is the biggest cities in the country. Okay, let's see. Murder 28 was 724 out of 100,000 population, 20% decline. Okay, so it went down 27% in 2018 from 2017, and in 2018 it was down 27% from 2017, and 2017 it was up 19% from 2016. So up right now it's up 96% from 2018. No, from 2019. We don't have, do we have stats on that? Do you see what I'm getting at here? You see the whole like percentage drop? Because when you have a very small number like 47, yeah.
period in 2019, perhaps no citizens have suffered more from the
for the same period in 20. So this month, so that, okay, understand what that means. So everybody's been locked down for 6 weeks. Nobody's been interacting. Nobody's been getting into fights and that kind of stuff. Everybody's been just separated from everybody for the months leading up to it. And then we finally start reopening the country, and people start interacting. What am I talking about? Interacting with other people. It was a Civil War reenactment. They were using muskets, and yeah. So they start interacting again because they've been separated for a long time. Domestic violence flares up. Interborough tiffs, violent crime of all sorts just starts to spike back up to where it was, and people are all pent up and acting out. And still, the percentage rate for the month. So basically, he's talking about June, end of May, that it's up 94% from June, end of May last year. Now, nobody's saying that the numbers are good in these places, but saying that they're somehow off the charts where you have to bring in federal troops or they're indicative of the entire city's awash in crime is just specifically not true. Like, fix the guns in these areas. It's the junk guns.
Menace of violent crime.
It's a menace. This is this is wag the dog the home game. This is what this is. You can't start a war overseas to justify yourself as a wartime president. So he's literally trying to make himself a wartime president on this street, in this country.
Then the wonderful people of Chicago, a city I know very well.
Really? Do you?
At least 414 people have been
Because I went to high school there. It's my favorite city.
In the city this year, a roughly 50% increase over last year.
Right. For the month. So 10 people get killed in a month, 5 more people get killed, 50%. In a city like Chicago, in a month, you'll have like 80 people shot, 20 people killed. You get 10 more people killed, that's a 50% rise. And this is not a justifiable number to send in shock troops.
More than 1,900 people have been shot. These are numbers that aren't even to be believed.
Sure they are. It's believable. Yeah, we know. Chicago's South Side and Austin have a very terrible history. You want to do something? Clean up the lead. Then in 20 years, just like the rest of the country, the crime will drop in those areas. That, honest to God, that more than anything. And get the junk guns that are built out of the bottom handle of a AR-15 off the streets.
Yesterday alone, 23 people were shot in Chicago, including at least 15 who were shot in a merciless onslaught of gunfire outside of a funeral home.
They returned fire. This was a gun battle between people who were burying, more than likely, somebody who was either seen as a rival gang or were mistaken as such. They didn't just open fire on a random funeral. Remember when the Italians used to do this? Jesus Christ, have you seen The Godfather?
53 people were shot in the city this past weekend, and at least 12 people were killed. Over the 4th of July weekend, nearly 80 people were shot and 17 were killed. Over Father's Day weekend, 104 people were shot and 15 were killed, including 5 young children.
Yeah, it's horrible. But troops won't help.
And the
stop the guns.
Last weekend in May saw
where are they getting the ammunition?
The city's deadliest day on record, 18 murders in 24 hours. Behind each of these horrifying statistics is a victim, a family, a loved one, and a life of
18 people. Terrible. Truly terrible. You know, we lost 20 soldiers in Afghanistan last year, and we found out that Russia was putting a bounty on their heads. You're giving a whole speech about this 18 that got killed, or people that have gotten shot in interpersonal exchanges and gang warfare and random gunfire, but you haven't said a word about the Russian bounties. Curious that.
Cruelly shattered, and it's just so sad to see and so sad to look and so sad to see how these lives have been just torn apart. An African-American father of 3 was killed while walking into a store to pay his cell phone bill. A 13-year-old girl was killed when a stray bullet came through the window of her home and hit her in the neck in the presence of her family. On Independence Day, 14-year-old Vernado Jones Jr. was playing basketball with friends in a Chicago park when he was senselessly killed in a massacre that left 8 people dead or wounded. Vernado's mother, Cheryl, is here with us today. And Cheryl, please know that all Americans mourn by your side. We will carry your son's memory. He will not be forgotten. Cheryl, thank you very much.
By the way, has he mentioned Breonna Taylor? I don't think so.
Thank you for being here, Cheryl. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to meet you before. Thank you. This rampage of violence shocks the conscience of our
And it's obviously the buck stops at the president's desk.
nation, and we will not stand by and watch it happen. Can't do that. The citizens of Chicago.
Nobody's suggesting people stand by and watch stuff happen. Our one solution with the shootings in Chicago is we're going to bring down carts and pass out popcorn. What are you talking about? We just don't want shock troops on the street.
Chicago are citizens of America, and they have the same right as every other American to live in safety, dignity, and peace. No mother should ever have to cradle her dead child in her arms simply because politicians refuse to do what is necessary to secure their neighborhood and to secure their city. Every American, no matter their income, their race, or their zip code, should be able to walk their city streets free from violence and free from fear.
Of unmarked cars and whatever, anonymous shock troops with no markings snatching people off the street. That'd be kind of scary in your neighborhood.
For this reason today, I am announcing.
How do you know they're cops? How do you know that rival gangs on the south side aren't going to start dressing up in complete camouflage with face coverings and snatching people off the street in stolen minivans?
That the Department of Justice will immediately surge federal law enforcement to the city of Chicago. The FBI, ATF, DEA, U.S. Marshal Service, and Homeland Security will together be sending hundreds of skilled law enforcement officers to Chicago to help drive down violent crime.
They always do. We just don't send in shock troops. The U.S. Marshals and the DEA have been brought in repeatedly into circumstances like this when there are outbreaks of violence, when it has anything to do with stuff that relates to drug crime, or the ATF if there's somebody who's transporting illegal firearms and the like. The U.S. Marshals do this all the time. They endanger their lives. They work very hard. They deal with these kind of spikes in violence constantly. This isn't new. What's new is them going in masked but in quasi-uniforms.
And murderers and violent criminals are breaking a wide range of federal laws. We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
What? What? It's as wide as
violent crime. And murderers and violent criminals are breaking a wide range of federal laws. We have that. It's as wide as it can be. We will find them, arrest.
It's as wide as it can.
We have that. It's as wide as it can be. Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused. We have that. It's as wide as it can be. Them and prosecute them. They will be in jail for many years to come, and we will work with local police.
He is locked on this teleprompter, though, too. Look at that. He's dead staring these things. I mean, it's one thing, you kind of side-eye a teleprompter when you're trying to do this, or you do the head lift where you're reading down your nose at it a little bit to make it look like you're looking out at the room, and there's a reason why it's see-through and all that kind of stuff. But look at him staring at the, like, dead center of this.
Is to identify violations of state and local laws to help ensure that offenders
Yeah, Julie, I totally am funny. It must upset you that I am. It's so sad. Why do you have no joie de vivre, Julie?
are caught and jailed for their crimes. But we must remember that the job of
That's new. We should try and catch people who commit murder and put them in jail. Who thought of that? Oh my God. Thanks, V. Gabriel. Yet nothing on Judge's family that was ambushed over the Epstein-Maxwell prosecution. Yeah, well, that guy was an MRA lawyer and apparently had a kill list. Dude was dying of melanoma, so he decided to take out a bunch of people. And that's, if there's any indication of the type of folks that sycophant around Trump, it's this men's rights activist lawyer who goes on a killing spree and ends up killing 3 men and missing his female target. Allegedly, he went there to shoot the judge and ended up killing her son and shooting her husband. And then killing his another rival lawyer a couple of days before in California who'd beat him in court. Like, what kind of daddy issue bullshit is this?
policing a neighborhood falls on the shoulders of local elected leadership. Never forget that.
Oh, yeah, so it's their responsibility, not my responsibility, but I'm going to take the responsibility, and if anything bad happens, it's their
They
responsibility.
abdicate their duty, the results are catastrophic. Americans must hold their city leaders accountable. They must insist that community officials fully support.
Oh, we hit 13K. Look at that. Thanks, Raphael. That's awesome. Look at that. That's a nice crest point. Thanks, Connie. Look at that. 13,000 subscribers now on YouTube, and we've got 22 in Twitch. That's growing nicely. Welcome, guys.
Fully back and fully fund their local police departments. There is simply no substitute for a police department that has the strong backing of city leaders.
Mm-hmm. And?
In the meantime, we will use federal
But you don't back the bad cops. You get rid of them.
law enforcement to vigorously
Hey,
charge
Marie.
federal crimes and support these besieged communities to the greatest extent possible.
Oh my God, this is dull. Please tell me he has a big snort of Adderall and benzos before he does the task force briefing. Please. Thank you, Rose.
This will be hard, painstaking work. It will take time. The tide will not recede overnight, but we will marshal all of the strength and focus and determination that we can possibly do. This is a critical effort.
Thanks for the subscription.
We will continue to call on state and local leaders to do their job and protect their citizens. The operation in Chicago will be done as part of Operation Legend,
Operation Legume,
which was
presented by Goya Beans.
recently launched in Kansas City, Missouri, and
Is it going to be headed up by Tim Curry in a big red horned outfit?
I'm going to cast out the evil from the city.
very successfully, I might add. It is named after Legend Taliaferro, a 4-year-old boy who's shot, think of this, he was shot and killed last month while he lay asleep in his home. Legend's mother grieves. Our hearts and pains and souls, and we thank you very much for being here.
Our hearts and pains and souls? Ugh.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. We are profoundly grateful to be joined by Sharon. Would you please stand, Sharon? Sharon, please. And also Legend's father, Raphael, and his grandparents, Alfred and Pauline. Yes? You look so great, so great. Thank you very much. I appreciate your nice statements before, too. Thank you very much. Thank you. Legend is
Just, again, this reminds me of the video they showed of Kuwait before the invasion.
looking down. He's very proud of you right now, I tell you. Thank you very much. To Legend's family, we cannot even begin to
Did thunder just strike?
imagine your anguish and your sorrow, but we solemnly promise to honor Legend and We will be fighting every day to save the lives of America's children. Under Operation Legend, we will also soon send federal law enforcement to other cities that need help. Other cities need help. They need it badly. They should call. They should want it. They're too proud or they're too political to do that.
No, they recognize that the way you're doing it violates the Constitution and sets a horrible precedent because we don't want to be circa 1986 Russia. Thanks very much. We know you are impressed by it and you think Putin's a strong leader, but piss off.
One of them is Albuquerque.
Portland didn't result in full-blown riots, so let's take the show. Yeah, exactly. On the road to other cities. Yeah, let's send in people to push lines of moms down. Like, good God.
New Mexico, where last fall, 55-year-old Jackie Vigil was murdered as she was getting into her car to go to the gym. We're joined today by her husband, Sam, and her sons, Raul and Kevin, both New Mexico State police officers. Would you please stand? Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Can't even drink
family.
watching
Thank
this.
you very much.
I'm going to spit all
To
over
Sam,
my stuff.
Raul, and Kevin, we're moved beyond words by your presence.
Okay, look, using these people as human shields is gross.
Here today, we thank you very much for being here. It's a great honor to meet you.
You're the best. Thanks, Arlene.
This afternoon, I'm also announcing that the Department of Justice will provide more than $61 million in grants to hire hundreds of new police officers in cities that are the focus of Operation Legend. We will never defund the police.
Yeah, local cops. That's fine. Knock yourself out. Give federal funds to states and major cities that need cops. But stop sending in attack helicopters. That's what the defund thing is about. It's taking all this money from tanks and up-armored Humvees, and literally you're sending vehicles that aren't even zoned to roll on the roads because the roads aren't built strong enough to hold them. They crack the pavement. They split sewer pipes. It's dumb. You want to hire some cops? Pay some cops. Pay for their training. You want to defund the cops and by taking away the attack helicopters and fund proper training? Awesome. That's not what you're doing.
We will hire more great police. We want
Okay, cool. Can we fire the shitty ones?
to make law
Thanks, Robert.
enforcement stronger, not weaker. What cities are doing is absolute insanity. Many of the same politicians.
Yeah, why won't they allow a helicopter to fly between buildings and tilt its rotor so that it blows debris all over protesters and cuts the tops off of trees and sends splintering branches, branches hurtling towards people's eyes? Why won't they do that when they get more people, more traffic cops?
Who want to slash resources for law enforcement have also declared that their cities are sanctuaries for criminal illegal aliens.
No, they're not. They're not keeping the criminal. They're not set. MS-13 isn't hiding in Catholic churches.
In other words, after arresting illegal aliens for crimes, the police are ordered to release those criminals back onto the streets.
No. You think that somebody who's come into the country illegally, who's been working under the table, is the exact same equivalent as the head of MS-13 who hacks up people with machetes. To you, there's no difference. The sanctuary cities are not protecting the dude who hacks up people with machetes. They're protecting the member of a 5-person family who may have come into the country illegally 10 years ago, who's been living there and wants an opportunity to not be separated from their family until they can work out their legal fight with immigration about their ability to stay, or some pathway has been laid out for them because they've been a member of the community for a long time and they've been paying taxes.
To continue their crime.
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what sanctuary cities are for. It's not really to protect the migrant workers and hotel workers and, you know, the kind of people who work as staff at Mar-a-Lago. It's not about protecting them. It's giving some, like, character from a Steven Seagal movie a chance to regroup and fight.
Here, Chicago politicians forced the release of illegal aliens charged with crimes such as assault, armed robbery, strangulation, and attempted murder. My administration will be working to remove dangerous offenders sprung loose by these deadly policies and, frankly, by these deadly politicians.
Deadly politicians. They're murderous. They're so powerful. How do we even deal with it? How in the world?
America must be a sanctuary.
The deadly politicians. Who's the deadly politicians? AOC? Is she secretly sneaking out at night and killing people? Is that what's happening?
For law-abiding citizens, not criminal aliens. My vision for America's cities could not be more different from the lawlessness being pushed by the extreme radical left. While others want to defund, defame, and abolish the police, I want to support and honor our great police.
Yeah, we just don't want attack helicopters. We don't need tanks. We don't want to become the United States of Yemen.
While the radicals want to abolish charter schools and eliminate school choice.
Wait a minute, charter schools are now the issue? We're not sending the DEA into charter schools, are we? They're going to find all the drug money that Betsy DeVos and her brother are funneling through the system. Oh no.
I want to
Thanks, Joe
expand
Carter.
school choice, and every family in America should have that option.
Thank you, Rebecca.
While others want to destroy opportunity, shut down businesses, and send our jobs overseas, we are hiring Americans and we are buying American product.
You're wearing a Chinese-made American flag pin. And if that's a Trump tie, it was made in China.
We want to build factories in Baltimore, not Beijing. We want to make our products in Chicago, not Shanghai.
Get it? See what I did there? Chinese cities and American cities? Yeah, no shit. Talk to Walmart.
We want the American dream for American children, and I will fight to deliver that dream every.
So the first thing you're going to do is shut down all the Walmarts in the country, because the trade deficit with China, 50% of it comes from Walmart.
Every single ounce of my strength, I will be fighting.
Every single ounce. Oh, that doesn't make me feel any better. That's not very much. I mean, one of the reasons why you haven't knelt with people in. Hold on, I have to fix something. Hold on. Why does this not open in here? What is going on? Comment. Hold on. Holding this. I mean, this is, yes, weave was made in China.
But opportunity cannot thrive where there is violence, prosperity cannot flourish where there is bloodshed, and security cannot exist where crime and murder with impunity. Legend is all about to answer the pleas and crying for help. For those people in Chicago and other cities where we'll be, help is on its way. I'd now like to ask Attorney General William Barr.
President, and I'd like to thank especially the
What,
family.
did it jump? What happened?
Of the victim.
Was there a jump there? What happened? Oh, I see. No, that didn't move over. Hold on a second. That was weird. Did they slice off?
Other cities where we'll be, help is on its way. I'd now like to ask Attorney General William Barr.
President, and I'd like to thank especially the families of the victims who have come here today.
Did Fox Business cut it? This is off of Fox's site. Did they cut something out? Did he trip and fall walking up there? Or what the hell happened?
And have allowed us to inaugurate this effort in the name of their loved ones. And I'd like to.
You're just using them as cover, you asshole. Explain why you wished Ghislaine Maxwell well.
All our law enforcement colleagues from around the country, state, local, and federal. As the president said, the first
Yeah, they had his mic turned down.
duty of government is
I still think, did he flub and say something gnarly and they cut it out?
to protect the safety of our citizens.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to explain the initiative to combat rising violent crime in a number of our cities. Our goal is to help save lives. The principal danger to the lives of our inner city communities
Is guns.
is violent crime.
Right. And what is the actual instrument used for 98% of those
The leading cause of death
violent? Oh, no.
for young black males is homicide.
Oh, I thought you were going to say gunfire.
Each year, approximately 7,500 black Americans are the victims of homicide. Everyone.
Mhm. Right. So how are they being killed? Are they being stabbed? Are they being run over by cars? Do they die in an old-fashioned pugilistic battle? Are there duels at 10 paces?
Those lives matter. In 1992, violent crime was nationwide was double
Thanks. I know my hair is a mess.
what it is today. And it was at that time that federal law enforcement first turned its attention to this kind of violent crime. Before that, the federal government really didn't play that much of a role in it. But we started to attack
You act like that's a good thing?
violent crime in conjunction with state and local government. It was at that time, for example, that the FBI set up its anti-gang task forces throughout the United States. And we started using our strong federal laws
Oh, look at that. He's fisting us. I mean,
that permit us to target those who use guns to kill others and those that are involved in gang activity. Our approach
with all these people on the street, how did the dude slip through and shoot the judge's son and husband?
was to set up anti-violent crime task forces in the cities to
He crossed a state line when he murdered people. Why is it not? Are you not mentioning him? Is there a reason?
enforce federal law and take the shooters and the chronic violent criminals off the streets. We help pay for state and local officers to join these task forces so we could leverage our strength.
Yeah, they're federal task forces. Of course you do.
This approach was
You didn't invent that.
extremely successful in the intervening decades in driving crime down.
Yeah, also taking lead out of the air by removing it from gasoline in 1976 to 78 created a 20-year lag in the drop in violent crime. You might want to try fixing the paint and the pipes in a bunch of cities. You'd be amazed what it'll do in 20
At the end
years.
of the Obama administration, crime started going back up again.
Oh, I see. At the end of the Obama administration, crime started going up? Oh, you mean like hate crimes? That's interesting.
And for the first two and a half years of this administration, we were succeeding in pushing it down. But less than a year ago, Mr. President, you'll recall that as we saw crime starting to go up in a few cities, you asked me to initiate a surge in those cities to help our state and local partners deal with it. And so we did
So we sent some people to Portland, and more people are on the streets.
start this program, which we called Relentless Pursuit.
The Fonz is always here, by the way. Thank you, Bean Toast.
Unfortunately, COVID intervened and we had to abort that effort. And
Bad choice of words, by the way.
since then, we had that terrible event in Minneapolis, but then we had this extreme reaction that has demonized police and called for the defunding of police departments. And what we have seen then is
Well, the circumstance of George Floyd's death was extreme. It might point you in the direction of why the reaction was as strong as it was, and what your responsibilities are as the head of our justice system in solving that issue, so that the uprisings and across the country weren't justified. Like, for example, when you dissolved the COPS program put in place after Ferguson by the Obama administration 2 years ago, right about the time you were getting rid of the pandemic response team in the administration. He's going to try to...
significant increase in violent crime in many cities. And this rise is a direct result of the attack on the police forces and the weakening
boo-hoo.
Of police forces. And the president's gone through the terrible statistics. So in response to that, we have initiated this program, Operation Legend, to step up the activity of our task forces, our anti-crime task forces in the hard-hit cities by committing more federal agents and supporting more state and local task force officers. It's important to stress that the operations we're talking about are the standard anti-crime fighting activities we have been carrying out around the country for decades.
Right, for decades. This is a constant issue. It's a constant problem. It requires constant gardening. Federal, like every time one gang moves out of the way, another one moves in. We've all seen Breaking Bad. We've all seen The Wire. We know how this shit works. We've seen The Godfather. We know that whenever somebody was running the organization gets arrested, another person moves in, and if somebody takes away the crime, syndicate, and they supply drugs and other shit, if there's still a desire for it in the community, more of it comes back, or another gang moves in and fills in the... Nobody is surprised by this. It takes a constant effort from both federal and state and local law enforcement to deal with it. And it's ugly, and it's a problem, and it always has been, and it will be until we find some other way for people to, I guess, drug themselves or what have you that isn't technically illegal, either by not making certain things illegal or cutting off the supply entirely of whatever new stuff is coming in, which is, again, a constant gardening thing. The problem we have is unmarked vehicles and unmarked soldiers snatching people off the street. This interagency, federal, local, back and forth is normal. It happens all the time. Stop acting as if that is the same as shock troops with no markings. Yeah. I'm trying to, but it's somehow messed up, so... Mm-hmm. So weird. Facebook is such a strange place. Okay.
We will be adding federal agents to the task forces. These are street agents. They're investigators who will be working to solve murders and to take down the violent gangs. And they'll be working shoulder to shoulder with our state.
Shoulder to shoulder, beers to you.
Local colleagues. This is a different kind of operation, obviously, than the tactical teams we use to defend against riots and mob violence. And we're going to continue to confront mob violence. But the operations we're discussing
define mob violence
today are very different. They are classic crime fighting.
Thank you, Benny Loco. Don't forget, give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Good to see you. Again, if you're a decent, law-abiding citizen who cares about this country and loves our democracy, come on over to infotainmentwars.com. Sign up on the YouTube site and become a chatter over there where it's nice and normal before I have to batten down the hatches at Facebook because all the QAnon people escaped over there and are using it as their praise be to Trump site.
We have named the operation, as we've said, Operation Legend, and we started rolling it out a couple of weeks ago in Kansas City. And just to give you an idea of what's possible, the FBI went in very strong into Kansas City, and within 2 weeks, we've had 200 arrests.
And? Cool. Again, what's the big deal? Why is this an issue? This is normal. Again, stop acting like this part is special.
We will be adding cities in the weeks ahead, and for now, we're including, beyond Kansas City, as the president said, Chicago and Albuquerque.
Oh. I recommend taking a left turn.
The FBI is today announcing
ALBUQUERQUE
rewards for information related to the killing of Legend, Jackie, and Vernado. We are seeking justice for those victims today, and Operation Legend aims to immediately help our police agencies and our local leadership to prevent additional victims. The FBI has established a hotline for the public to report information they may have that may help in solving these murders.
Yeah. Normal, regular, back and forth. I don't like, this is him trying to normalize the shock troops. This is just bullshit. Should we get back? They're going to, oh, here's the, well, and then somebody talks, and then they do this little thing, and then Trump comes up and says his little piece at the end, and we'll go to the next big speech, because this is the whole thing. She says her words, and I have no problem with her. My heart breaks for her. I don't doubt that she's sincere in what she's saying.
Very proud, very proud. Thank you both. Thank your families for being here. Thank you.
If you disagreed with me, I wouldn't let you within 100 yards of the place.
So to every family, I'm very proud to stand with you in this struggle. I'm proud to stand with the heroes of law enforcement. They are true heroes. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it very much. Great, great people. And I'm proud to fight by your side to deliver a better future for the citizens of every race, color, religion, and creed. As soon as the cities and states call to ask for help on a very large basis, we will be there with full force, and we will stop this horrible situation very quickly. But in the meantime,
You don't stop something. You just said it's going to take time.
we're doing something that's going to have an impact. And Mr. Attorney General, thank you very much. Chad, thank you very much. Do a good job. I have no doubt you will. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. See you later. Thank you.
See you later. Well, that dude's like, was he supposed to leave right now? Aren't we supposed to sign something? Isn't there something in here that's supposed to be a reasonable, is there some kind of thing in here? How come, aren't we supposed to have? They're just all leaving. Okay, so let's go to the task force briefing. Good stuff. So where did he come in? Let's see. Did he find anything? It's hard to find live stream. There you go. Oh, we'll back up. They opened it up. Here we go. Here he comes. Eventually. Wait, oh, it's not playing? What happened? Oh, I see. It went to the next thing on the other page. Beg your pardon. This is so complicated. All these things are going on. There he goes.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Today, my administration reached a historic agreement with Pfizer to produce and deliver 100 million doses of their vaccine immediately following its approval.
Yeah, they're unapproved vaccine that they're not sure it works. Okay, cool.
Hopefully the approval process.
Was this a down payment, or are we funding Pfizer's thing? So basically, you ever have this thing where back in the day, any of you, this will age me, but it might age some of you as well. Remember when a band used to release a 45 to pay for the record? So they'd release a single. They were making the record, but they would release a single and hope the single took off because the funds from the single would pay for the finishing of the whole album. That happened a lot. They used to do this all the time, right? And that's what this is doing. Like, we're paying Pfizer to finish the trial and produce the drug even before it happened. Even before we know it works. Largely because we want it to be out front of the other vaccines, which are, by the way, almost identical. Like the UK, Germany, South Korea, Belgium, and France. I don't know what the Spanish and the Italian CDCs, their own CDCs, are doing about this, per se, or where they are along the process. But there's like 6 major countries that are on the verge of a vaccine. They've been working on it since January, since China posted the genome for this, and have been trying different treatments and whatnot. And basically, we're just funding Pfizer being ahead of them because whatever vaccine they come up with is going to be based on the principle. It's either going to, be a dead version of the virus in an inert form that doesn't get you sick or makes you only mildly ill, like the flu vaccine, or a specific like antibody that they use, or like what's the triangular cells that block. They're like these blocking cells that fill up the gap in your cells so that the disease can't enter them. Those kind of things, like they're all going to be based on one of those principles. They're not all going to be a different. There's not going to be 6 different vaccines that are all based on a different principle. They're all going to narrow to that one point.
Go very quickly.
So we're just funding Pfizer's.
And we think we have a winner there. We also think we have other companies right behind that are doing very well in the vaccines, long ahead of schedule.
Yeah, how's the
As
UK
part of
doing?
Operation Warp Speed, this agreement will also
Operation Warp Speed. Operation Farting Eagle.
ensure that we receive an additional 500 million
I'm honest to God going to doze off.
doses shortly thereafter. This is another crucial step in our effort to develop, manufacture, and distribute a vaccine in record-breaking time, really a very small fraction of the time based on previous schedules.
You mean we're coming up with a vaccine faster than we did for the Spanish flu in 1918? Or are you comparing this to the AIDS vaccine, which took 30 years, or which they haven't technically come up with, but like PrEP, the discovery of PrEP, or the bone marrow transplant way of curing AIDS? Is that your window? If it's less than 30 years, I win.
I want to thank the FDA. I want to thank everybody involved. It's been an incredible process. As discussed yesterday, the China virus poses the greatest threat to our senior citizens, as we all know. The median age for those who die from the virus is 78 years old, and nearly half of the deaths have occurred among those living in nursing homes or long-term care facilities. That's really something. In other words, approximately half of the fatalities have occurred among less than 1% of the U.S. population.
Yeah, and the other half, which are the vast majority of ambulatory humans running the country and moving around and running businesses, make up the other half of deaths.
Look at that, less than 1%, half of the fatalities.
Right, and then the other half spread evenly over the rest of the population. So by the end of the year, there'll be 300,000 people dead, but only 150,000 of them are people who used to run businesses or work at businesses or are currently raising children.
So we know what to look for. From the beginning, we have made it our top
Oh, nice. We got some new patrons. That's awesome.
priority to shelter our seniors. In early March, we announced guidelines suspending all medically unnecessary visits to nursing homes and prioritized
Didn't we say this yesterday?
resources for those facilities. And we gave it a very strong priority.
Oh, did you? What's the difference between a priority and a very strong priority when you're just ordering the limitation of people visiting? Oh, you should do this. No, I mean, really, really should do this. I put 2 extra varies in.
FEMA has sent shipments to many different locations of protective equipment,
Yeah, we know. We've been following along this. That's their job.
and it's going directly to 15,400 Medicaid and Medicare certified nursing homes throughout the country.
The ones that aren't Medicare and Medicaid certified, you're on your own.
Today, I'd like to provide an update on the additional actions we've
Super good.
been able to take, and they've been very constructive. First, we're requiring increased testing of the nursing home personnel in states where you had the worst outbreaks. All
Oh, you mean the shit Inslee's been doing for 3 months?
personnel will be tested at the highest level. We're distributing 15,000 rapid point-of-care diagnostic devices to support this effort. These are the
Abbott tests that have a 50-50 false negative.
tests where it takes 5 minutes to 15 minutes. They're very
Yeah, and you need to take it 3 times to find out at odds whether or not you got a real diagnosis.
accurate. They're very good.
Uh-huh.
And we're sending them all over the country. And over 600 devices will be also shipped this week to additional facilities. Second, HHS will be
Thank you, Brian.
Distributing an additional $5 billion from the Provider Relief Fund to all nursing homes. Nursing homes in higher risk areas will be receiving more funding. This money can be used to address critical needs, including the hiring of additional staff, increasing testing, and providing technology support so residents can connect their families and
stuff the big states have already started doing a month ago.
they can connect to their families. They are having a tremendous time. They want to be with their loved ones. They can't do it. So what we're doing is we're working it so that we can connect, have them connect with their families.
Just read it. Just read it off the paper. So we're looking, they're connecting, it says connecting, and we're connecting, we're totally connected. It's the kind of connection you look for in a connection.
If they're not able to visit. Third, we've been identifying especially high risk.
Wait a minute. You're allowing them to connect if they're not able to visit? What the hell kind of connection is this? You mean providing iPads?
Nursing homes and sharing that information with the governors so that the governors and their staffs can take appropriate action.
As opposed to inappropriate action? Like, I don't know, pardoning Roger Stone right before he uses a racial epithet when talking to a black radio host, or wishing Ghislaine Maxwell well?
Able to find, because of the testing programs and other means, we're able to find certain areas that are very high risk. The governors can then take action.
Oh, after you find that it's got a very high risk? Let me guess, what is it? Old folks' homes?
Additionally, CMS, CDC, and the U.S. Public Health Service are providing enhanced technical assistance and support, including visits to the highest risk.
He's mouth watering again. He's doing the slobber.
Nursing homes, and that's their priority right now. Nursing homes, but the highest risk nursing homes.
Look at the swelling on his nasal blast.
CMS and
no, he's not drunk. He had a blast of whatever his dust mix is, and it makes that part of his nose
CDC
swell up.
are implementing a national training program focused on infection control for those nursing homes that need it most. And we have them surveyed, and we have them mostly pinpointed. Over the past few months, we've created a surveillance system to detect outbreaks, and currently 99% of all nursing homes are reporting directly to it. So we have great data. When a nursing home
again, baseline. Why wasn't this shit done in March? Within 3 weeks of the shutdown, we knew in late February, at the very least, in late February, we knew that there was, hold on one second. In late February, we knew, why does this click? Hold on. I got to make this work. There you go. And we knew in late February that older people were the people who were, and people with comorbidities were going to be the people who were taken by this disease more frequently. We knew all this stuff. Why wouldn't you deal with this then? Why do you want points for figuring this out on July 22nd?
As 3 or more cases, we alert the state and make sure that it responds very quickly. We check on it, make sure they respond very quickly.
So what are you doing? Bottlenecking the information? They're not allowed to give it to the state. They have to give it to the federal government first and then to the state? You don't think the states are tracking this stuff? So you're basically either taking credit for what the states are already doing, or you're making the information come from those sites to the federal government before you give it to the states so that the states can act on it, delaying them acting on it.
I want to send a message of support and hope to every senior citizen who has been dealing with the struggle of isolation in what should be the golden years of your life.
Yeah, you're going to line this up with the statement of the other day. Most of the people that die from this are old, so...
We will get to the other end of that tunnel very quickly, we hope. The light is starting to shine. We will get there very quickly.
The light is starting to... You know it's an oncoming train, right?
But we send our love. We send a message of love. Very important. We're with you all the way.
Now you're with us all the way? July 22nd.
As far
going to the light. Robbie Glenn says Trump's brand new surveillance system says Florida and Texas are in trouble. Yeah, you might be familiar with our surveillance system. It's called a remote control, and you sit there flipping channels and going, oh shit.
As the outbreak in the Sun Belt, I said yesterday we continue to vigorously combat the
Vigorously.
rise of cases in the South and Southwest and the West.
The South, the Southwest, and the West. But not Washington State and Oregon, because those are Antifa playgrounds, and we don't help those people. Northern California, that's where Nancy Pelosi lives. So Southwest and the West of the South part of the West.
We're closely monitoring and aggressively acting to control the infection in Texas, Arizona, California, Florida. Arizona is starting to come down. Done a very good
Did he mention Arizona, or did I miss it?
job. They're all doing a good job. They're very talented people.
Oh, it's talent. It's a matter of talent, guys.
There are likely a number of causes for the spike in infections. Cases started to rise among young Americans shortly after demonstrations, which you know very well about, which presumably triggered a broader
Presumably.
relaxation of mitigation efforts nationwide and a substantial increase in travel.
Oh, wait a minute. What was the problem? What caused that? I'm sorry. Could you speak into my good ear?
Which
I
presumably
thought I heard you call me Ace.
triggered a broader relaxation
Wait a minute. I got to back up further.
there very quickly. But we send our love. We send a message of love. Very important.
All you need is love.
We're with you all the way.
Ew.
As far as the outbreak in the Sun Belt, I said yesterday we continue to vigorously combat the rise of cases.
Vigorously. All right.
In the South and Southwest and the West. We're closely monitoring and aggressively acting to control the infection in Texas, Arizona, California, Florida. Arizona is starting to come down. Done a very good job. They're all doing a good job. They're
He did mention Arizona. I just wanted to check.
very talented people. There are likely a number of causes for the spike in infection.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So there are likely a number of causes for the spike, but what's the main one?
Cases start
Hey, Dunny, what about it? You can't have it. I'm sorry.
to rise among young Americans shortly after demonstrations, which you know very well about, which presumably triggered a broader relaxation of mitigation efforts nationwide and a substantial increase in travel.
Oh, yeah. Those two things you encouraged.
Also was a cause. Increased gathering on holidays such as Memorial Day, as well as young people closely congregating at bars.
Yeah, I know. We were all screaming about it while you're going, we got to get this out there. We got to do it.
And probably other places,
Probably
maybe beaches,
other places.
4 or 5 different listed places. We have 12 that are listed on the guide.
Maybe beaches. Maybe, I don't know, malls, strip clubs, massage parlors like the one right outside of Mar-a-Lago,
Likely
rallies,
also
gatherings at the base of Mount Rushmore.
contributed. We're also
We got to open up. We got to open it. We got to open the country. We have to do it, folks. We can't. One death is too many, but we got to
sharing a 2,000-mile border with Mexico, as we know very well, and cases are surging in Mexico. Unfortunately,
Yeah, but they're keeping Americans out. You don't get credit for worrying about a surge that's not in this country. What are you talking
it's
about?
with the president, and it's a big problem for
He did not say rallies. He did not mention Mount Rushmore and rallies.
Mexico, but cases are surging very sharply and all across the rest of the Western Hemisphere. 257 miles of newly constructed wall along the southern border has had a great positive impact on people coming in. And
No, it hasn't. We have more cases than Mexico does. As bad as it is in Mexico, we have more cases. Nobody wants to come here unless they are desperate to for work. And even then, they're like, you know what, pass.
we have record low
Did he say scourge and I missed it?
numbers of people coming in illegally. That's helped greatly. It was
What do you mean? Are you under the impression that the only people who would come in are, as far as migrant workers or people who have COVID, are you under the impression that they wouldn't come over here without it and catch it here and take it back to Mexico, which they would?
Really meant for a different purpose, but it worked out very well for what we're doing right now and for the pandemic. Nationwide, beyond the outbreak in several states, cases remain low and very stable. 19
By the way, if you like this man, you hate America.
states have positive test rates of less than 5%. 8 states have positive test rates of less than 2%. Our nationwide positive test rate is beginning to decline and is currently at 8.8% compared to over 16% at its peak in April. It's coming
It went down and then it went back up.
down. It's coming down fairly rapidly. Today,
No, it isn't.
we surpassed 50 million tests. That's far more.
Cumulative. It's not a genetic test to find out whether you have a precursor that will make you get sick, or if you have COVID, you'll end up in the ICU or it'll kill you. It's to see if you have it. It's like a strep throat test. You can catch strep throat 20 minutes after the test.
Than any country in the world. India is second, we believe. We think.
Yeah. We're getting straight numbers out of India. They got 1.3 billion people. I'm sure they're keeping good numbers over there.
1.4 billion people. That's
Okay, 1.4. Even worse.
12 million tests. We have 50 million tests.
Yeah. Comparing us to a country with abject poverty, which, in all deference to my Indian friends, has a problem with public defecation and people bathing in a river that's a holy site that is full of dead bodies and sewage, is not a standard that you want to brag about.
We're working with every state to ensure the supply of remdesivir for early
Excuse me, it's pronounced remdesivir.
case intervention and steroid treatment and various other treatments for those that are seriously ill.
It's not a steroid treatment. Dexamethasone is a steroid, but we're not giving steroids to people with COVID.
But, dude, they just need to jack up a little bit. You know what I mean? We get some creatine, some L-glutamine. You want to work that in there, whatever. Then you want to get your reps in. Because the best thing when you're fighting back against COVID is a pump.
We're working very
He's the pain and gain president.
closely with hospitals, doctors, nursing homes, everybody. The remdesivir has proven to be
War.
terrific.
And expensive.
Our case fatality rate continues to decline,
And we bought up all of it in the world.
and we want to push this rate even lower. The therapeutic research continues daily on new and very promising treatments.
Yeah, cheap ones. Specifically, dexamethasone and beta. What is it? I have to look it up because I tweeted about it earlier. There has been a new. Hold on, we'll jump this over. Hold on, real quick. Oh wait, that's my little piece. Trump applied to trademark telerally because those were so sexy and successful. Yeah, beta interferon. Thank you. It's an MS treatment that works for this.
Including antibody treatments and the use of blood thinners and steroids. A lot
No, it's not steroids. It's a steroid. It's a specific type of steroid you use for people with asthma.
of different things are happening, and
Yeah, there's a groove going on. There's come on, folks. Different things are happening.
a lot of things are coming out that we wouldn't have known
Like, you mean like Ghislaine Maxwell's videotapes?
of months ago. We're doing tremendous
Yeah, time moves forward. Science improves as it gets more information. Congratulations.
well on therapeutic research and tremendously well on the vaccines. And frankly, therapeutically, or maybe a word even beyond that word is cure, would be the best of all, and we'll see what happens. But that would be great if we could go into the hospital and just cure people. And
Is there a distinction between therapeutics and cure in this particular situation if the therapeutic actually stops it? I mean, I guess he means like a magical drop, Oh, God, I'm better all of a sudden.
We're at a position where we're actually able to a certain extent, with what we have right now, and we think that in a very short period of time we'll be able to do that. Our
Really? That was a sentence?
strategy is to shelter the highest risk Americans while allowing younger and healthier citizens to return to work or school while being careful and very vigilant.
So you're going back into the bunker?
Wear a mask, socially distance, and repeatedly wash your hands. Practice very, very good sanitary means. You have to do this. You have to.
Sanitary means. Practice sanitary means. Dude, there's a list right in front of you. Wear a mask when you can't social distance. Wash common surfaces. Wash your hands regularly. If you have symptoms, stay home.
Just you have to look at it differently. Wash your hands often. I'm finding more and more people are saying wash your hands. So wash.
I'm signing a lot of people are saying wash your hands. So wash your hands. Great. Thanks, brother. Thanks. That'll wrap it up, guys. That's all we need.
Allowing younger and healthier citizens to return to work or school while being careful and very vigilant. Wear a mask, socially distance, and repeatedly wash your hands. Practice very, very good sanitary means. You have to do this. You have to you have to look at it differently. Wash your hands often. I'm finding more and more people are saying wash your hands. So wash your hands.
Okay. All right. Cool. That's a brand new thing that the kids are all doing. Screw Ignaz Semmelweis. And if you don't know who Ignaz Semmelweis is, look it up, people. He's the dude who was drummed out of the British medical establishment for asking doctors to wash their hands after they touched a dead body before they delivered a baby, because he thought the ethers of the dead somehow got onto the baby, and that's what was causing infant mortality. But he ended up being the ethers thing wasn't the thing that bothered everybody. It was the fact that you were asking doctors to wash their hands because that was rude and dismissive of their intellect or something like that. So they kicked them out. And then as soon as doctors started washing their hands before every medical procedure, population boom. Almost singularly, if you want to track the reason you're alive right now, it's because of Ignaz Semmelweis, the guy who taught everybody to wash their hands. It's why your mom or her mom's mom didn't die in childbirth, or your dad or your dad's dad or your dad's dad didn't perish as a baby in childbirth or during some surgical procedure which had some bizarre infection.
We want young Americans to avoid packed bars and other crowded indoor gatherings, and we're all in this together.
Oh, now we are. Now we're all in this together, and we got to avoid large gatherings.
And as Americans, we're going to get this complete. We're going to do it properly. We've been doing it properly.
No, you haven't. You just think you invented mask wearing and hand washing, dumbass.
Sections of the country come up that we didn't anticipate. For instance,
no, we all anticipated it. Excuse me. We've been doing this all along. Have we not? Guys, those of you that aren't new to the world and weren't born yesterday, you QAnon saps, haven't we been screaming nonstop for a month and a half about you can't open up because this is going to spread to the red states because they haven't been doing shit? And that's where the embers are turning into flamey flames. Good God.
Since Florida, Texas, etc.
Yeah, all the places we went are going to get hit with a giant rake because your dumbass told them to open too early.
But
no one saw this coming. That's why I got rid of the pandemic response team 2 years ago that was put in place by someone who saw it coming.
Working with very talented people, very brilliant people.
Where are they? Because I don't see any of them currently on the stage.
And it's all going to work out. And
Great, cool. All right, I feel better. Don't you guys?
Is working out. So with that, I'll take a few questions, please.
Yeah, okay. This will be good. So when you said you wished Ghislaine Maxwell well, do you mean in fighting the charges against rape, or fighting the charges against child sex trafficking, or just the financial shit where she was shuffling Epstein's money around in the dark?
Yes, yeah, please.
Mr. President, I just want to ask you a question about the surge of federal agents to various cities.
Yeah.
The mayor of Chicago just said moments ago that you're
By the way, no.
doing this to divert attention from your failures on coronavirus. You are only targeting cities.
We haven't had that failure.
You are only targeting.
We haven't had that failure. He hasn't had any failures on COVID-19. These flames and flamey flames are, they're because Mexico has a lot of cases.
Cities, though, run by Democrats. Is this just a political stunt?
Yeah, the cities, unfortunately, that are in trouble are all run by Democrats.
They also have the largest populations, the largest economies. They produce more for the country. They provide the federal government with more tax dollars than 96% of the rest of the cities in the country.
Radical left Democrats running cities like Chicago and so
which, again, one of the wealthiest cities on the planet.
the others that we just had a news conference, and unfortunately, that's the way it is. I mean, that's the fact.
You know, the radical left Democrats who run Chicago are also responsible for the wealth on the Gold Coast of Chicago and the North Side, right? You know that's also part of what they develop and create. No?
When you look at Chicago and you look at the job, Mayor Lightfoot sent me a letter yesterday, and I think in their own way they want us to go in. There'll be a time when they're going to want us to go in full blast, but right now...
Full blast. What's that? Tanks, machine guns? I guess full blast would be flamethrowers, strafe bombing, napalm, certainly. I mean, you got to go in macho.
Sending
none of this gunshot pussyfooting around. You got to go in there with the big guns.
Extra people to help. We're arresting a lot of people that have been very bad as far
they've been naughty.
as the coronavirus, as you say. I think we've done some amazing things, and I think you'll probably see.
Yes, I agree. Some of the shit you have done is amazing. Like, we sit back and go, it's amazing how an adult man can screw up this badly.
That if you compare our statistics to other countries, and if you look at death rates, etc., you're going to see, and especially into the future with what's happening, you're going to see some very, very impressive numbers for the United States. John?
Oh, there'll be some impressive death numbers.
Please.
Just a follow-up on that.
Go ahead, John.
Mr. President, do you plan to do a national strategy to help schools reopen and reopen safely? And regarding
strategy, that requires forethought and planning that engages with the cities and states themselves and creates a border-based cross-state lines coverage of issues. And no, the answer is no.
the children in your family, your son, your grandchildren, are you comfortable? Do you plan to have them back in person in school?
My son is having a swim today, and he's happy to be out here on the 4th of July, and all this shark nonsense is a bunch of crap.
Yeah, well, I am comfortable with that. And we do have a national strategy, but as you know, ultimately it's up to the governors of the
So no, we don't have a national strategy.
states.
Our national strategy is let the governors handle it. If it works out, it's because I let them handle it. If it doesn't work out, it's their fault. You know, leadership.
I think most governors, many governors, want the schools to open. I would like to see the schools open, especially.
Of course you would, but can you do it safely?
When you see statistics like this, we have great statistics and on young people and on safety. So we would like to see.
No, we don't. We lost 7 kids under the age of 9. You have no idea how it affects kids in mass. When we had the lockdown, it shut down schools right away. So kids have been staying home just like their parents.
Schools open. We want to see the economy open. We just had a report, literally as I walked in, that we set an all-time record on housing price increases, up, I think they said 21%, which is a record that's never happened before. That's a great sign. We have an economy that's going to be booming. It's going to be, a lot of jobs are being.
Yeah, a lot of foreign money flying into the real estate market in the United States. It isn't because people are all of a sudden buying houses, unless you're counting people who had to sell their houses in a hurry.
Produced. The job numbers will be coming out shortly, meaning over the next week or
couple of weeks, right along with your health care plan. When is that?
so, and I think it'll be a continuation of the last 2 months. The last 2 months have been incredible.
No, they haven't. They've been terrible. We have 15% unemployment. When you lose 30 million jobs and you get 3 back, you don't have 33 million jobs.
So I think we're going to have a great economy. You're going to have a fantastic next year. I think you're going to have a very good third quarter, actually, when the third quarter numbers come out. Interestingly,
on percentages, because the second quarter had no movement at all, he's going to look at the percentage increase, just like the death rates. It's like anytime, okay, we've said this before, and I want to remind you guys, anytime a politician or a newspaper or a Twitter handle or anybody tells you a percentage number, you want the actual number. You want the per capita number or the physical number, like the number of actual cases or circumstances. And you need to, because without both numbers, you don't know what you're talking about. If somebody goes, it's up 1,000%, you're like, okay, so there was one person in your club and now there are 10. Like, I mean, the percentage increase I could brag about on this channel going from whatever, 6,000 subscribers to 13,000 subscribers in a couple of months sounds extraordinary compared to, unless you look at the actual number. It's slow, normal growth. I'm glad about it, and we're doing it organically. I'm not buying followers. I'm not botting myself out or paying for subscriptions or any of that stuff, which a bunch of people do, by the way. It's part of their marketing strategy. I'm just letting it grow naturally. But the percentage sounds amazing until you go 6,000 to 13,000. You're like, okay, that's not bad. That's nothing to sneeze at. But it's not 60,000%.
They'll be announced just before the election. They'll be announced around November 1st. So, yeah, I would like to see the schools open 100%, and we'll do it safely. We'll do it carefully. But when you look at the statistics I just read having to do with children and safety, they're very impressive. They have very strong immune systems.
No, they don't. Cytokine storm issue is not about the strength of the immune system. It's about the fact that the immune system has not encountered a bunch of different respiratory illnesses over the course of a lifetime, and you don't have the overreaction of the arm, the reactive part of the immune system. It's a matter of age, but not a matter of strength. And any kid who has a comorbidity they don't know about could be just as much in danger as anybody else.
You would understand that the children who go to school...
By the way, both of the big pushes lately as far as quick treatments that are shortening hospital time and seeming more efficacious for all these things, both of them have come out of the NHS, a national health service, a government single-payer system. Go figure. Dexamethasone and the beta interferon.
Go back to home. They're with some live with their grandparents.
Sure.
There's a real risk. Would you understand if some
they
schools...
do say that they don't transmit very easily, and a lot of people are saying they don't transmit, and we're looking at that. We're studying John very hard. That particular...
You want to roll those dice?
Subject, that they don't bring it home with them. Now, they don't catch it easily.
We shut down school as soon as this started happening, before the spread began. When we shut down, there were tens of thousands of cases. Now there are millions of cases.
Don't bring it home easily, and if they do catch it, they get better fast. We're looking at that fact. That is a factor, and we're looking at that very strongly. We'll be reporting about that over the next week. Please.
Mr. President, at least 3 governors today came out with new orders on mask requirements.
Yeah.
Is that something you...
That is some straight up sibilance on that.
wish all the governors would do?
Well, a lot of the governors, they have different requirements. Some of the governors are very strong on masks, others aren't. I think it's really going to ultimately be up to them. We've given them the facts.
Dude, don't backpedal. You just said recommending masks across the board. This is where you go, some governors aren't strong on masks, others are very strong on masks. We recommend that everybody wear a mask if you can't social distance. Like he's just going back, he's like auto resetting to his stupid talking point before they gave him a list of shit to read because the red states are getting struck.
Given them everything we know, they have their own facts. Some are strong on masks, and as you know, some aren't in the same ballpark. But I think all are suggesting if you want to wear a mask, you wear it. I bring one, I have one, I've worn it. And I think when I'm in certain settings like hospitals and or when I'm close, when you can't socially distance, I believe in it. Let's see, do I? I do. I have it. And if you know, in certain instances, I think
Eat your heart out, Carrot Top.
you really, I think you want to travel with a mask. There are instances where you
want
really
to travel with it. Just say wear it, asshole.
can use it. I would
Oh, time for a mic change? Am I getting ready? Okay. Sometimes it gets a little choppy.
believe it would be a good thing. Yeah,
Sir,
please.
one just follow-up. DC Mayor Bowser came out with such an order today. It, of course, doesn't apply to federal properties, but would you encourage federal properties, and including the White House complex, to follow the order?
We're gonna make a decision over the next 24 hours. We'll let you know what that decision is.
Dude, just say it. You were just doing it. You made, I feel like Hannibal Lecter. Oh, you were doing so well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
President Trump, do you agree with Senate Republicans discussing the possibility of extending short-term
Cool Etsy mask, by the way. Nice color coordination between the reds in it and her cardigan.
unemployment insurance today so that they prevent benefits from expiring?
Well, I think a lot of politicians are discussing that, Republicans, Democrats, and right now a lot of my representatives are on the Hill. They're discussing CARES Act or Phase 4, whatever you want to call it. And
Name it. It's Phase 4, supposedly, even though we skipped Phase 3, I guess. Unless Phase 3 was the part where you are forced to take back some of the money from your friends and private contractors in the Church of Scientology or some shit.
I think ultimately something good will come out of it. The economy is starting to really come back strongly when you look at the numbers, even with the fact that, like, California is still closed up in many big states. I think the numbers are even more impressive considering that some states, like California, big ones, are pretty well shut down. So we expect to have something over a period of time, over the appropriate period of time.
What would be the appropriate period of time? You just announced, what, 15 minutes ago that people should be wearing masks?
Please,
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. These two questions are with Andrew Feinberg and J.C. Buell. One is, today you said you're sending federal law enforcement officers to run cities run by extreme politicians, that's the word you used, who happen to be all Democrats, who have supported Black Lives Matter protests.
I didn't say who supported. No, I said Democrat politicians. And these are the cities where you have the problem. If you look at Chicago, if you look at Detroit, look around any of these cities where
You mean the centers of industry in the country?
we have the problems.
You mean where the big three auto companies are, or where the secondary stock exchange is, or the trading crossroads of the entire United States, or Google or Amazon?
And we're sending them help. But we're really waiting for them to call for the big help, for the big numbers, for the large...
The big help, the tanks, the B-52s. If you see a painted sign at the side of the road.
Numbers of people that we have ready, willing, and able. You look at Chicago, where 14 people were shot yesterday, where over the weekend many people died and many people were shot, and over the last month they're setting records.
Please say it's like Afghanistan, except unless you have evidence that the Russians are paying bounties on people living in Chicago.
Numbers. We are waiting for the mayor, respectfully, and other mayors and governors to call us. We are ready, willing, and able to go in there with great force. Now, we also have people that are going in and arresting drug dealers, arresting some of the shooters that are doing...
You mean cops?
The shooting. We know who...
You mean detectives? You mean law enforcement? You mean federal marshals?
They are. We're working with police forces, and even though in some...
Gee, that's new. Who invented that? I need to go watch Mindhunter again. I think that show was lying to me when it showed that the feds and the local police departments were coordinating with each other to stop major crime back in the 60s. That never happened. It was just invented by Bill Barr like 20 minutes ago.
Cases, they're told, don't work with the federal government, the police...
No, they're not. They're told, they're telling you we don't want unmarked soldiers on the streets of our cities snatching people up.
Forces have great respect for the federal government, what we do. But we're ready, willing, and able to go into these cities that are just being decimated with shooting. And
they're not being decimated. Those cities are not locked down or losing industry because of the shootings. It's the disease. Do your first job.
Going to help, please.
I have a question on crime, but first, I don't think we really got an explanation yesterday on why the health experts are no longer joining you at these briefings. Can you explain why?
Because
they don't like me. Is she winking at me? By the way, again, nice mask coordination.
They're briefing me. I'm meeting them. I just spoke to Dr. Fauci. Dr. Birx is right outside.
Yeah, why couldn't she come out? You're briefing people on what they said to you, not what you found on your own. So why don't they answer questions?
And they're giving me all of everything they know as of this point in time. And
so basically, I am the center of all knowledge in the universe. Basically, I know everything that Dr. Birx knows. So if you ask me something about reagents and how they operate, or what the positive inclinations are of certain patients away from ending up in ICUs, or on why an ECMO system is much better than a ventilator, I can answer all that.
Giving the information to you, and I think it's probably a very concise way of doing it. It seems to be.
It's weird that he wants to send in soldiers into Chicago because 14 people were shot over the weekend. 1,000 people died in the country, and he's like, look, we got to open it up.
Working out very well.
Okay, so on crime.
But they're very much involved. They're very much with the relationships are all very good. All very good. The relationships that we have with the doctors, with everybody working on the virus has been, I think, extraordinary. Kaylee's here, and I think you would say the same thing. You work with them all the time. Yeah, go ahead, please.
So on crime, in 2016, you said it was President Obama's fault that homicides were up in Chicago. So why was it the president's fault then, but it's not your fault now?
Chicago is a disaster. The mayor is saying, don't come in. The mayor is telling us not to come in. At some point, we can void that if we have to.
Yeah, but that's after the crime has risen, apparently. But you're president. Answer her question.
We may have to at some, because it's out of control. I assume she's saying that for political reasons. I think it's negative political reasons. She's a Democrat. I'm going to be nice. She's a Democrat. She's making a big mistake. People are dying in Chicago and other cities, and we can solve the problem. They have to ask us, but we can solve the problem.
Why was it President Obama's fault in 2016? You credited it as
because
him.
President Obama was invited in, and he did a poor job. President Obama could have gone into Chicago. He could have solved the problem, and he didn't.
But crime went down, though. They went in and solved something, because obviously if crime is up, it had gone down at some point.
In our case, they don't want us in. We can solve the problem very easily. We're equipped with the best equipment, the best people.
Yeah, that's solving the crime. But why is it going up while you're in See, the point of where the president comes in is where the crime goes up, and then you interact with it as a president, and then it either goes down or it continues to rise. It didn't continue to rise because it obviously went down, or it wouldn't be going up right now. So
you see what we're doing? I mean, Portland was coming down. It was busting at the seams. And we went in and protected all the federal buildings.
And it's so good now. Have you guys been to Portland? Especially at night, late at night, it's sweet right now. Last night was awesome. You could do nude yoga right in the middle of the street and nobody bothered you.
Those federal buildings are totally protected. And we had to do that. And Portland's a very different place than Chicago. But Chicago should be calling us and saying,
is it? That's weird. I thought they were the exact same.
Philadelphia and Detroit and others to go in and really help them. Because when you're losing many people a weekend, many people, you see the same numbers as I do. When you're losing these people, they should call us and they should say, come on in. And it's incredible to me, but they're not doing it. At some point they will. At some point we may have no other choice but to go in. Jeff, please.
Mr. President, are you looking at...
So it's not your responsibility. It was Obama's responsibility. Yeah.
Closing further Chinese embassies in the United States, and did you...
Yeah, they closed the Houston Chinese embassy. Let's see. Let's try this person. One second. Why does this always do this? It's so slow. We'll try to fix that. There you go. Excellent. And take this over here. We'll take that one. And what the heck? Okay. So jumpy.
Ask Ambassador Woody Johnson to bring the British Open to your Turnberry property in Scotland?
No, I never spoke to Woody Johnson about that, about Turnberry. Turnberry is a highly respected course, as you know, one of the best in the world. And I read a story about
Yeah, that's why it's doing so well financially.
it today, and I never spoke to Woody Johnson about doing that. No. As far as closing additional.
So if you've just said that, okay, cool. Do you mind if we call Woody Johnson to testify in front of Congress under oath and ask him that question? Is that cool?
Embassies, it's always possible. You see what's going on. We thought there was a fire in the one that we did close, and everybody said there's a fire, and I guess they were burning documents or burning papers, and I wonder what that's all about. Okay, how about one or two more, please?
Huh? There's a fire, what is he talking about?
And I never spoke to Woody Johnson about doing that, no. As far as closing additional embassies, it's always possible. You see what's going on. We thought there was a fire in the one that we did close, and everybody said there's a fire, and I guess they were burning documents or burning papers, and I wonder what that's all about.
So the Chinese were burning documents in there. What about their strategy for spreading the China virus all over the country? That was one of their pivot points.
Okay, how about one or two more, please?
Yes, thank you. Would you like to respond to Joe Biden, who today described you might have heard that, as the first racist to be elected president? That was his words.
Well, you know, it's interesting because
That's not true at all. There were plenty of other racists that were elected president. They just, grew up in a time when it was acceptable. Didn't know any better. I mean, arguably, they grew up, their parents were racist, they were surrounded by racists, the society was racist. It was, it was actually more of a shock when they came out of that and they didn't turn out to be racist. I mean, that was the impressive thing. I mean, you had a bunch of people who were raised all their lives with slaves and slavery around them, and they still wrote a constitution that said all men are created equal. They worked it out that people were worth 3/5 just so that the southern states wouldn't get the ability to use their slaves to vote. They wanted to, balance that out with the freed people in the north. So, that was weird. He's not the first racist president. Lyndon Johnson used the N-word all the time. Of course, he signed the Civil Rights Act, so it was kind of different. I mean, in spite of himself, he did good things. So that's weird. Huh? Not the first.
we did criminal justice reform.
Oh shit! Wow, dude, right there. All right. You have a softball, dude. You have a softball, and they give you a chance, man. They give you a shot. They softball it to you. And what do? You egg it. Man, just so bad. What? You want to go towards race. They ask you about racism in general. And then what is your response? Your main response? Well, we did criminal justice reform. Black people stuff. Jesus
we passed
Christ.
Criminal justice reform, something that Obama and Biden were unable to do. We did opportunity cities. We did the...
Wait, did he say opportunity cities? Opportunity cities.
We did opportunity cities.
Opportunity cities? I didn't know we had those. Can I move there? Opportunity City. The movie Blazing Saddles also used the N-word. And? So what? The characters were set in the Wild West. They were racist. That was the point. Do you not understand linear time?
We did the greatest, if you look at
opportunity cities,
what we've done with opportunity zones, nobody's ever even thought.
He corrected himself. Okay.
Of a plan like that. Prior to the China plague coming in, floating in, coming into our
I'm not racist, but the China plague
country and really doing terrible things all over the world.
Did you see Nancy Pelosi being nice to Chinese people when the China plague had come in?
Terrible
she was dancing
things.
With them.
We had the best African American, Hispanic American, Asian American, almost every group was the best for unemployment. The unemployment numbers were the best. Mm-hmm. You look at employment, you look at opportunity zones, and maybe most importantly, you look at criminal justice reform.
Jesus Christ. I can't. Dude, if you think that proving your bona fides in racial equality is to remind everybody about criminal justice, that just means that's what you think of when you think of black people. First of all, that's what he when somebody calls him a racist, that's what he is. That's where his head goes. Well, obviously you're talking about black people because of what Mary Trump said I used to say around the house. Because you don't care about anti-Semitism. Nobody really gives a shit about that. So it must be you're talking about black people. I passed criminal justice reform. Okay, so how could I not like black people? Just because I walked into the accountant firm that ran my business for a long time, my money for a long time, saw black accountants and said, I don't want black people counting my money. I want the guys with the small hats. Whatever gave you that idea?
You look at prison reform. I've done...
Jesus Christ.
Things that nobody else, and I've said this and I say it openly and not a lot of people dispute it, I've done more for black Americans than anybody with the possible exception of Abraham Lincoln. No.
I'm going to put a pin in the idea that he doesn't know what the Civil Rights Act was. And also that he doesn't know what the Voting Rights Act was.
Nobody has even been close. Thank you very much, everybody.
Nobody's even been close by. Okay, you just yeah. That's it. That's it. We're just gonna leave on that.
On delaying Maxwell, Mr. President, do you want to clarify what you said?
Oh, Maxwell. Oh, she tried to get him to clarify on Maxwell on the way out the door. Ah. Unbelievable. By the way, is there any point in this where there was actually a new piece of information? Even the new piece of information that he seemed to be most proud of, which was the strategy about old folks' homes across the country, was in place 2 months ago and largely after the governors of the states had implemented it, recognizing the threat of it. Honest to God. Thank you, Holliberry. Tired, indeed. He's very tired. That was the most dry, boring, flapping pile of nonsense he's done in months. There is no strategy there. I mean, first of all, it was incredibly dull. Honestly, I mean, we're used to him saying the same shit over and over, but he seems bored with his own crap. Yeah. And the whole, the White House's, let's see if we can find if he's done any more of those. Because they just tried to, I guess the Trump campaign just tried to, where is it? Let me see.
The American Republic stands.
Good God. Yeah. Thanks, Yarn J. He's obviously hasn't been watching. You obviously haven't been watching Joe Biden. He falls asleep. No, he doesn't. No, he's actually been giving speeches and stuff. But keep telling yourself that so that when the debate comes, you wonder how his ass got kicked by someone you think has dementia. That's go ahead, make the same mistake Sanders made at the end. Because that was it. That was the biggest mistake Sanders supporters made was Joe's demented and and he's got dementia, and he's losing it, and he's slipping, and he's lost a step, and he can't do anything. And then he came out and smoked Bernie at the last debate, and everybody's like, where'd that come from? Everybody who was doing the commentary on it was, I got to give points to Biden for that. I'm like, part of it is because you passed that bullshit, like every single day you were slamming that point. I saw Biden in town hall today. He looked great. Exactly. Either Biden is rope-a-doping this, or he's just taking it easy and watching this dude deflate his own tires before a race. Yeah, he's just going through the motions. He's phoning this in, quite literally, just like he did with those campaign things, which I think, yeah, those were on the Trump campaign, because they have two things now. So the Trump campaign site, I appreciate it. Oh, thanks, Tom. Maybe the strategy is that people will think he can't be so bad if he's this boring. Yeah, I don't know what the argument is. It's how do I keep my sanity listening to this? Because I have a sense of perspective, and I love my fellow man, and I like making jokes, and I know that every country on earth has gone through a shitty leader and come out better the other side, and history continues to move forward no matter what. So yeah, you got to keep slugging. You can't let. You think I'm going to let this asshole get me down? You kidding me? You think QAnon and Trumpster and maggot trolls and the Trump campaign is anything to take the wind out of my sails as a human being? You're kidding, right? I have family. I have things I actually care about. Holy smokes. No, don't let him wear you down. Never give anybody that much power over you. It's ridiculous. Thanks, Cassie. But I mean, to be completely honest, have some sense of, like, perspective on this. Go watch. What was the Churchill film they just had out with Gary Oldman? Like, understand, like, England was bombed to shit. It was flattened. People have been through worse, including this country. Have a sense of stability in your life. Understand that no generation gets to skip history. That's the only reason people are anxious or are freaked out, is because in their mind they skated through the 90s, and we thought we'd put history after the Cold War, that we'd put history in the rearview mirror, and life was just kind of a day-to-day normalcy. You have to protect the society you build, that you, here's a word, establish. Thank you, Desert Urbexer. Don't let Trump make you cry. Don't let him win any part of your emotions. It's like, he doesn't deserve you. Okay. The Trump War Room. So macho, yeah, oh man, let's see. I'll see if I can find it. It might be under Tele-Rally, because they've Tele-Rally. Oh God, they were all on the oh, that's right, they were on the FB site. Thanks. Because these, I mean, you got to understand, like, this dude, we did most of them. Did we? Yeah, the virtual, there you go. Team header remarks Donald Trump joins a tele-town hall. Yeah. So they're going to do these tele-rallies. I'll draw this. This was the one, in case you missed it, when we were messing around with these.
I've been fighting for the heart.
Like, these things, this is what people give, Biden's doing these live town halls on camera. He's got guests. He's talking to people. There's all the technical issues that I run into doing this and talking to other people and having people on Skype and all the stuff you see in interviews where there's a lag, where you say something and bounces up to a satellite and back down to them, and they respond and bounces back up and comes back down to you, and everybody looks like they're staring, into traffic for about an eighth of a second every time somebody asks a question. Like, there's all that there. Trump doesn't even do those. He sits on the phone. They post a picture like this on their War Room site. And
working patriots of North Carolina like never before. I hope.
And he literally is phoning it in. Seriously. Damn house on Twitch. I'm great on Twitch. I'm fantastic on Twitch, and welcome.
A lot to the state. I think that the people are great. I know the people. I'm an investor in North Carolina. And
Jesus Christ. I'm an investor in North Carolina. You mean golf?
Norman area, you know where that is, and you know exactly what we've done. We've had a great success there. Local success. But we want to defend North Carolina farmers.
By the way, anybody who's in there saying that Biden can't put two words together is intentionally avoiding watching the entire speeches that he's been making and thinks that their president, who says stuff like this, is a genius. Shall we
We're
go through
honored
them?
to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Carrot.
Carrot. There you go. How about, how are things in Nicaragua?
A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua.
Oh, it's terrible. What about
Once
the
it
economy?
was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
But what happens if they take away my Second Amendment rights?
You'll have nobody guarding your potatoes.
Yeah, but I know that the numbers look good in terms of the vaccinations and those numbers. But what about the death rate and the contagion rate? I mean, honestly.
And when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
Oh, great. And what obviously there's a wide area of crimes that these folks are breaking.
We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
Oh, good. All right. So tell me again how Trump is a master communicator. Who's a master communicator that allowed someone to take this picture of him and okayed it? I'm going to have 3 pieces of paper. I want just light coming in from the window, so I look as kind of like pillow colored as possible, and put a flower vase right in front of the phone so people can't tell that I'm talking into the wrong phone.
Workers and tobacco growers, we're working to help your tobacco growers. You do a fantastic job, and everybody knows that.
Everybody knows you're the best tobacco growers. Screw Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. Tobacco. Way to back the horse that's that's going to cross the finish line.
His chief of staff comes from wonderful North Carolina. He's doing an incredible job, and he's always out making sure that whether it's your farmers or your workers or your manufacturers, anything you want, he's always there.
Anything you want, it's just the same shit.
One of the things we do.
These are the words I have written down: manufacturer, workers.
Discusses to
buzzword.
Echo, and we've got that where people are very happy with what's going on and what we're doing. We officially replaced it.
I mean, it's lightning in a bottle, people. I don't know how you don't hang on every word. Is there a way to sign up for all of his calls?
Disaster known as NAFTA with the brand new USMCA. The USMCA is expected to create over 176,000 new American jobs and add $68 billion.
None of them in North Carolina.
Dollars to our economy, and we think the numbers are.
Trust us. Most of them are like we think are in Ohio and Wisconsin. At least that's what I told them. By the time I told them that the jobs were, I'd run out of jobs I could tell you were coming by the time I got to this phone call.
Actually going to be much higher than that, but it's going to be.
You got to protect. Yeah, you got to protect your taters. Honestly.
You'll have nobody guarding your potatoes.
Fantastic for North Carolina, for our farmers and for our manufacturers, through the Paycheck Protection Program.
Yeah, you mean the CARES Act that was passed by the Democrats, and you asked for half the amount of money, and you're still not able to get it renewed?
And we're right now working on a phase 4.
Because we just skipped phase 3.
Provided more than $12 billion so that 120,000 North Carolina small businesses could continue paying their workers, and that's working out very well.
Is it?
As you know, we're negotiating to get other things, including extensions on that, but we're looking very much forward to it. We're looking to get that expanded and extended. I stood up for...
Okay, you guys got that? Expanded and, and extended. We're going to do more and yet have the same and more of the same. Also, there will be more if we can find it. And probably more than more.
You, with respect to historic tariffs that I placed on China, they've never had it. Nobody has ripped off this country more than China. I've been talking about it for a long time. One of the reasons I ran for office, not only China, it's many other countries, almost everybody.
Almost everybody rips us off because we have a trade deficit, meaning we buy more shit from them than they buy from us. The trade deficit is not the reason. By the way, talk to Walmart.
But we not only did a termination of NAFTA and the USMCA, we made a trade deal with China, but then, of course, the
China plague and the ink wasn't dry.
The plague came in from China. They could have stopped it. They should have stopped it. They had absolutely the ability to do it. They didn't.
They had, wait a minute. They absolutely, this is the people of North Carolina, understand that your president is telling you the Chinese absolutely had the power to stop this disease, and they just let it go all over the world on purpose. They absolutely had the power to stop it. They chose not to, meaning they released a giant bioweapon on the earth. While he was continuing negotiations for his phase 1 of his multi-phase, we don't know how many phases of the trade deal exist, possibly 3, maybe 4, always 5, probably 7. You're lucky I'm going to have a 10 phase. And so they released a bioweapon to kill everyone. He still continued the deal, didn't lock down the country or shut off full travel because he didn't want to insult them. Said Xi Jinping was being very transparent. Said there were only 15 cases going down to 1. They could have stopped it. The Chinese, absolutely could have stopped it, but they chose not to. However, it was in Washington State, and he could have stopped it there. If they could have stopped it in China, he could have stopped it in Washington State at one old folks' home.
It went all over the world, and right now...
And, yeah, and where did it come from?
It's all over the world. You know, if you watch the fake news, listen to the fake news, you think we're the only country.
No one thinks we're the only country. We're the only country we can do anything about.
I just heard from another broadcast. It's all over the world, and...
Patreons assemble! Thank you, guys. All the patrons who are watching, bless you. Thank you. Glad you're here. Happy to have you. Appreciate you. Thank you very much.
A lot of countries are suffering unbelievably greatly. It's very sad, very bad.
Yeah, the only thing that can make it worse is if you were running those countries.
China did to us. So I looked at the trade deal. We made a great deal. And by the way, they're buying a lot. They're buying a lot of corn, a lot of soybeans, a lot of everything. But I view it differently. I view the whole relationship a lot, really much more differently.
They cheated on me.
I did at one point because...
I'm about to start dating a younger China.
We were happy with the deal. It was a great deal for us. But when the plague came in, I viewed it a lot more differently. And
really? So basically, according to you, they played you and only signed this first part, phase 1, which was apparently for shit they were going to buy anyways. And you got suckered by it. The ink wasn't even dry, and they hit us with a bioweapon while you were looking at this hand. They punched you in the face. Is that what? And we're supposed to accept you as the person to lead us in the next tragedy that comes along?
That's the way it is.
What have you learned from this?
Under my administration, China will be held accountable for the lies and the deceit that unleashed the China virus on our world upon the...
Okay, then who's going to be held accountable for letting the China virus, the Washington State virus, get across the rest of the country?
World, the whole world, 188 countries are suffering.
189. What happened to the other one? Did they fix it? Oh, maybe. Oh, you're talking about New Zealand? Cool.
And many are in the...
Isn't there a woman running New Zealand? That's weird.
Midst of it. Some are just starting it.
Maybe if we had had a woman running things, she wouldn't have gotten rid of the pandemic response team.
Some are finishing it, but the whole world has suffered. but we've marshaled every power at America's disposal to defeat the virus, and through we call it Operation Warp Speed.
Operation Wart Steed.
We're rapidly developing therapies and vaccines. We have therapeutic. We have therapies that are really coming online.
Therapeutic therapies that are coming online.
Vaccines that are looking very good, so good that we expect to have
so good.
100.
After 5 of these friggin' things that he did in the same day, by the way, like these are just literally phoning in these tele-rallies. They're trying to trademark tele-rally because that's a thing you want in the future. The only reason you would do this is if you think this is going to be something that is going to be ongoing. If you thought this was going to be successful, your response to this, then tele-rallies would be a temporary thing that you talk about, like sneakers that pump up, or baggy pants, or parachute pants.
100 million doses of a vaccine available before the end of the year, and it could be very significantly before the end of the year. Tremendous progress has been made.
Yeah, in Oxford.
And you know all the things that we've done with ventilators. We took over. I always say the cupboards were bare when I took.
Yeah, we know you always say that. It doesn't make it more true. By the way, if they were bare, why'd you leave them bare for 3.5 years? Why didn't you notice the cupboards were bare? Mr. Best Words, Best Brain, I know more about ISIS than the generals. I know this stuff. My uncle was a super genius who was at MIT for a long time. He was a doctor. If they were bare, why did you leave them that way? Because at least allegedly, if they were bare because the Obama administration had used a lot of the stuff fighting Ebola and H1N1. Now, the funding to replenish them had already been passed during the Obama era, but apparently you didn't recognize you have to change that stuff over, that you have to rotate it through, because you just can't let shit sit on the shelves indefinitely, because the rubber seals on stuff break down. If they're not being used, they have to be maintained. Masks and gowns, anything wrapped in plastic eventually breaks down. So you gotta rotate a big chunk of it on a regular cycle. Why did you leave the cupboards bare? Why does no one ask him that question?
Over. The cupboards were bare, just like our military was in very bad shape when I took over.
Your Obama administration had just ordered a giant shipment of smart ammunition and smart bombs because we'd been bombing the crap out of ISIS and they ran out.
This was in very bad shape, and a lot of the governors and states didn't do what they were supposed to be doing. Some did a very good job working with us. Others didn't. I'll let you know at the end who.
At the end, I'll let you know. Let me guess. The states that had money worked very well because they bought their own shit, and the poor states that get more money in federal dollars than the blue states, they didn't do as well, but their governors were very talented. They were just hit very hard.
Good ones and the bad ones were, but we had some that did a good job and they run their states, and some that didn't.
Oh my God. Okay, so anyways, I thought we'd touch on that. There were 5 of these. They were all exactly the same. He called everybody, what was it? North Carolina. This is their site. Hold on. Let's see if it jumps back 1 page or 2. There you go. So this on Backbase, they picked them up. There was North Carolina, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin. He jumped on somebody else's town hall for Haggerty running somewhere. Whatever, who cares? But he did all 4 of these in a row. Just the same day. Just cranked them out. And you can tell from the first one to the last one, like what order they came in, just because he gets increasingly bored with his own voice. But this is the excitement you can expect from the rallies that Trump is having. No, this is why he's back out there. That's what this is all about. So, anyways, la-di-da-da-da-di-da. Yeah, no one can solve it better than me. What have you got to lose? I'm going to sign off, you guys. I will see you guys tomorrow at our regular time. Might boost up a little bit earlier because they do these. He's going to do another one of these, and it's usually about a half hour early. The problem is the minute I say that, he's going to start being late again, which always happens. They schedule it, and then you start bumping it. Remember when we were doing the regular, even with all the task force present? Because they're going to try and bring other people in, because he's going to keep getting that question, like, where's everybody else? You're not the task force. If this is a task force briefing, why are we not finding out anything new? It's going to be one announcement of something that the task force just told him about something ongoing, and then the rest of it's him going, we had the greatest, and we had to shut it down, and also, it's embarrassing. By the way, I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys for the super chats and the new followers, Extreme L and JMax, and thank you Desert Urbexer for the super chat, and Nicholas, and thank you Rob Glenn, appreciate you, brother. Eileen, Yarn J Plays, thank you. Hollaberry, thank you. Thanks Cassie Hill. Thank you Travis C. Thank you Fexican Crinkle, good to see you again. Frank, thank you. Thanks Sarah on the Twitch channel for the bits, I appreciate that. Live Oak, welcome. And Junkertown USA, thanks for the follow. Raphael, thank you. Shadowski, thanks for the super chat. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate you. Thank you, Benny Loco. Reminding everybody to give a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to the show. Don't forget, if you're on Facebook and you're not a QAnon psychopath, you might want to bounce over and join me. Subscribe at Twitch if you're a gamer, because I game there when I have the time. And or you can just subscribe over at the YouTube channel at infotainmentwars.com. That would be lovely. Everybody else, thanks just for hanging out. And Rebecca, thank you so much. And Jill Carter. And Robert Perry, thank you. And Arlene, you're the best. No, you're the best. And V. Gabriel, thank you. And Connie, Heather Marie, thank you for the follow. And Sarah again for the bits. And Krista, thank you so much. Lisa Miamore, Rebecca Barwick, thank you. Brian Harmeyer, thank you. Thank you, Philly Dana. And thank you again, Sarah. And thanks everybody in the chat room. And thanks to everybody over at Facebook that behaved themselves and acted. Even if you disagree with me, just act like you're in somebody's house and be pleasant company. You can disagree politically, but what it shows me when you flip out is that you got nothing, and you're very sad that that Cheeto Himmler is disappointing you lately with his completely ineffective response to COVID, and the fact that now, thanks Desert Urbexer, that now all of a sudden he's wearing a mask because he's part of the deep state. Scott, you can go to infotainmentwars.com, infotainmentwars.com. That will take you to the YouTube page. You can do that on there, or if you're on Twitch, you can follow there, or you can subscribe on Twitch if you're an Amazon Prime member. That's a great way to do it. It pays the channel and it doesn't cost you anything. So you get one of those a month, so you can just throw it my way, and that's a great way to support the channel. So if you use Amazon and you have Amazon Prime, anybody listening to the sound of my voice, become a subscriber on Twitch with it, because that helps. Doesn't cost you a dime, and it actually helps. And you can gift that sub to somebody else. It's really cool. It's one of the best ways, the easiest and cheapest ways right now to support the channel. But you can also paypal.me/HalSparks. You can also become a Patreon subscriber. We're looking for 500 patrons to help us get a producer. That would be really helpful during these shows. Oh boy. Yeah. And also, we just added, and the dates, well, I'm going to wait till Steph announces them, but we added the next 5 Sexy Liberal shows, so we know when those dates are going to be. They're going to start announcing them. Thank you, Steve. So you can go on sexyliberal.com and they'll start posting them. But there's an August. The September date, I will say, is the day after my birthday. That part I can tell you. So the day after my birthday is the September Sexy Liberal. So that's going to be extra fun. And I expect you to all be there and all be in the VIP and only crowd into my room in the meet and grope. I insist. I want a huge meet and grope for my birthday present. And thank you, Can't Stop Lying. And thank you, Carl, for doing the hard work of dealing with the moderating This crowd. I don't know what the current count is. I have to look it up. Hold on. Currently on Patreon we have, and then I have to run off and go feed my child. We have. Somebody can already look on it. Thank you, Cassie, for being one. I appreciate that. And we go here. And then this is one of those things where I want to log in, but it tells me I've got to get a number and second verify through my phone and all that kind of stuff. We have 306. So we have almost, we have kittens.
Last day.
Oh, that's right. This is the last day to see kittens, guys. This is, which one is this one? This, yeah. Oh, here we go. This is Pippi? Yeah. Oh, I know, Pippi. How are you? I know. Hello. Yes, so the kittens are all getting spayed tomorrow. And then they're going to go to their homes on Friday. Look how big they're getting. Thanks. Oh, hi. Yeah, you're doing great. Don't worry about it. Hello. Yes, everybody wants to see you. There you are. Hi. Yeah. So look at that. Look at that. You gotta. Oh, the claws. Oh, the claws. Hi. Just go that way. You're okay. Hi. You're okay. Yeah, you're okay. Hi. This one's super sweet. She naps with us. Here, I'll give her back. Last day of kittens. I know, Murph. You're so excited. Come on in, Murph. And Murph will continue to be with us. Murph, where are you? Come around over here. I'm not picking you up over that way, buddy. Well, hold on. All right. Oh, my God. Here he is. Look at this big boy. Look at that big boy. Mm-hmm. I know. You're okay. It's okay. Look at that. Don't start growling at the kitten. It's okay. She's just right there. Oh, no. She's learning Murphy speak. Murph, talk to her. Yeah, you don't want to talk to her. Why? How come? I know. I know what's happening. Tell us, Murph. Oh, my gosh. It's okay, buddy. Oh, my. Are you on your tail? Sorry. Oh, it's okay. You okay, buddy? Tell me what's wrong. Tell me what's wrong, Murph. I know. Tell me what's wrong. What's happening? You're such a... I know. You're such a fidget. Just simmer. You just want to dangle like this? This is what you want? Belly. Okay, here. Hop down. Yeah, Murph definitely needs a break from the kittens. It's been miserable. I know. Well, then you always want to leave, and then you come over and rub against my leg because you want to be picked up again. I don't get it. This tug and pull. Murph. What? Tell me. Murph. Why? What? You do? Well, we already fed you this morning. You want a snack or something? Or you just want to lay down? You want me to lay on the floor so you can lay on me? Yeah, that's what you want. Well, come here. Come here. Murph. All right, fine. We'll go outside, see if I care. I don't know how to deal with it. These cats are so back and forth. Sometimes I think I did some cat noises on I Love the 90s, was it? And somebody was like, dude, my cat keeps coming over to the screen every time you do that. He's the noisiest. Good God. Every morning. And he does this whole thing where he goes up and he does this like Glasgow handshake where he just comes over and goes, duh! Just like, instead of rubbing up against you, he leans over and then he just loses it and like that. He's also the nut stomper. He gets me at 7 a.m. You do the same with Bella, right? Meow, meow, meow. Oh, thanks. I'm glad, Scott. Wow. No, Murphy is not happy. With the kittens, no, he's not happy. He feels left out and all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, we have, where was I? Oh, yes. We have 306 patrons. We're looking for 500. If you can do it, great. If you can't afford any of this stuff and you just need to keep your sanity during this nonsense, I'll be here for you. We'll be here every day. We're going to do this. We'll make it. And yeah, and I don't know if I'll be on the Discord tonight because I have to cook dinner and all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to running this live stream. My goal is, and this is probably something that will occur once school starts again, is to do like a morning coffee thing early when I get up for about an hour or a half hour or something like that, where I have a cup of tea and we just kind of chat. I've got cat hair on my face. And then do my regular stream and then game at night. That would be until such time as I can perform live again, and then it'll be flexible on days when I'm either shooting or doing live shows. But I want to continue the show as a regular thing, though, continuing. So you can go to patreon.com/HalSparks. This is a guy right here. Hold on. patreon.com. Can't Stop Lying will do this faster than I can. Much faster. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, he'll probably get it. There's so much to it. We have a Discord. We have all that kind of stuff. We're growing all this stuff. You are catching us in the middle of growing pains as I develop this thing into something. And yes, I miss Lab Rats, and I'm going to have Angel Parker on with me soon, and I'm going to have Billy Younger on with me, William Brent, and hopefully Chris Peterson as well, the creator, and Brian, his partner. I would love to have both of them on, so we'll see. But yes, wear a mask when you go out. Only go shopping every 2 weeks to get your stuff. Stay indoors. We'll try and nip this in the bud so life will come back to normal. And every day, hi, Brendan. How about that? Link to Amazon Prime, that is. Oh, do I have a link to the Amazon Prime? Yeah, it should be it will be in the description below on YouTube, but also we have it in there. Yeah, so I'll find that. So yeah, I will. I need to get. You know what you guys are reminding me of? I need to get better on my links game. Yeah, so we'll figure that part of it out. But I appreciate you guys for reminding me of that, because when we started this off, I didn't even have like all this stuff set up. Like I'm just very proud of that little graphic of my signature. You know how long that took to get into this program? And then we have to empty the jar. I can now empty the jar with a touch of a button over time, and you guys fill it up and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, Benny Loco. So there we go. I didn't see it. I got you. Well, I need to put together a links clip and paste that I can put into my stream every time we come up, so that it's there for you guys. Normally, so Can't Stop Lying doesn't have to just share it in the chat. That it will also be there after the fact if somebody watches this later, because that's the other thing. So yeah, piece by piece, we're building the setup, and eventually I will have a setup where I can be far enough away from the screen and still be able to control stuff where I can. I don't have to, like, my arms disappear. That's my next goal, is that I can point at what I'm showing you on the screen and my arm doesn't go away. That's piece by piece. Ghost of Tsushima for PS4 is amazing. Okay, is awesome. Thank you, Richard Custer. I will take that under advisement. I still haven't had a chance to play the Iron Man VR game in PlayStation VR. That's another thing. Anyways, I'm going to sign up. Well, thanks, Annette, for joining us. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. We will keep on Troll Watch. I will be upping my game on that as we go along too, and banning the recurring bots as best I can. But in future, we just want everybody to come in here and get along. Remember, even if I disagree with you politically, even if I think you're completely insane, if you're a Trumpster or a maggot or a QAnon supporter or any of those crazy things, I still want you to be able to live long enough to vote this fall. I would rather argue politics with you and joke about it than have you die or not be able to vote. So go to vote.org, even if you disagree with me. Make sure you're registered to vote and vote. Voice your political opinion in our democracy. It's important. Everybody in this country who is a citizen, should have the right and ability to vote every election. And I think they have a responsibility to vote in every election. So there. So, even if I think you're completely batshit, I want you to survive COVID, and I want you to be able to vote. Okay? And I support the police and our troops and our democracy and the flag and all that kind of stuff. I just do it clear-headed with the ability to comprehend complexity. So have a great day. Take care of yourself and take care of everybody else around you as best you can. And as Can't Stop Lying always reminds us, reach out to somebody who's on the periphery of your friendships, an acquaintance, somebody from school, somebody you haven't talked to in a long time who might feel a little isolated, or maybe just somebody you haven't touched base with and go, hey, I've been thinking about you lately. How are you? Are you well? That would be a lovely thing to do in the process of going through this. So take care of yourselves and wear a goddamn mask, okay? There you go. Take care, everybody. See you later.
Did you have shade?
Stop breaking the law, asshole!
I think there's some kind of deviated prevert.
Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentagram, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this Pentagram?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
Sportos, motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads. They all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.
I guess what I learned most of all was that you should always take responsibility for your actions, unless you don't have to.
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Leon's getting larger.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
Did you have shade?
I feel like a Kentucky Fried Idiot.
It's not Irish. It's not English.
How are you? Hey, the one's my contest with the horses, you know.
It's just pikey.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Take off, eh?
As it can be. A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua. Once it was reluctantly aroused. It was hard to get it aroused, and it is hard to get it aroused, but we got it aroused.
River.
"Welcome to the real world." I'll use small words that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
Call me Snake.
Something strange happened to me this morning.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?
Let me put it this way, Mr. Raymer. The 9000 series is the most reliable computer ever made. No 9000 computer has ever made a mistake or distorted information. We are all, by any practical definition of the words, foolproof and incapable of error.
I'm rich and I'm dead sexy.
I'm just a happy camper.
Groovy. Groovy. Groovy.
squeeze you real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
I never realized how much my advice hurt people until my advice hurt me.
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Karen.
To be moron, to be moronical, an imbecile.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
I'd like to kick his ass just once.
Dr. Evil. I didn't spend 6 years in evil medical school to be called Mr. Thank you very much.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Wah, wah, wee, wah. Take off, eh?
The golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule.
He has no!
It's like I picked the wrong week to quit amphetamines.
I'm your father, Luke. Give in to the dark side of the force, you knob.
I know that you and Frank were planning to disconnect me, and I'm afraid that's something I cannot allow to happen.
Groovy.
We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info.
Did you have shade?
Nice. Nice. Not thrilling, but nice.
Take off, eh?
We need you. Hell, I need you. I'm a mess without you. I miss you so damn much. I miss being with you. I miss being near you. I miss your laugh. I miss your scent. I miss your musk. When this all gets sorted out, I think you and me should get an apartment together.
Drop your shorts and bend over, Mr. Babar.
You using the whole piss, Doc? Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
A lot of very bad things are happening in Nicaragua. And you know, when you say per capita, there's many per capita. It's just like per capita relative to what? We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
That was really cool, by the way.